Hello, my name is Takahashi from Hult International Business School. Today we are interviewing a current student from London. He is currently taking a marketing class, so we are grateful to him for joining us today. Thank you very much. Well, today the agenda is, an update on the dual degree program. And also, since this is an interview with a current student, I would like to hear about marketing, the inventory that Kanami is currently receiving, and what it's like being a student. The last thing we'll do is close the application deadline. First of all, I would like to talk a little about the dual degree update. If you receive an offer by March 31st, you will be offered a full scholarship, so I would like to talk a little about the dual degree update at this point. First of all, our bank is doing dual degrees, and the reason why we are doing this is that our bank's master's program usually takes 1 year to complete, but you can get a second master's in 6 months. First of all, you can graduate faster than at other schools. Now, for example, if you were to get 2 master's degrees at other schools, it would take about 2.5 or 3 years. But with this school, you can get them in 18 months. And the second point is, you can do it well by learning the necessary knowledge and, by acquiring specialized knowledge. That specialty. You can become an expert in that specialized field. And the rest is, yes, because it broadens your cultural experience. Because of the rotation, you can learn various things at each campus, so you can broaden your international experience, earthquakes, and market knowledge. And you can also broaden your network, so you can connect with students who are pursuing a similar career path, and you can learn a lot from them. And also, earthquakes, and so on. Knowledge is something that you can share with others. So you can improve your skills in the industry you're aiming for, or you can do the job you want to do. And so our bank offers a second master's degree. Yes, the second master's degree is, the MIM program, a master in management program for young people that teaches general business. And then there is the marketing program and the MBA program, which you can take with the first master's degree to get the second master's degree. As for the MIM program, there are 5 specializations: finance, marketing, internship, business analytics, and entrepreneurship. The second master's degree is in finance, business, analytics, and marketing. The programs in the red box are STEM certified in the United States. Yes, you can work for 3 years after graduation. One thing to note is that when you take a second master's degree, you cannot take the exams for the first one at the same time. So, for example, if you take business analytics as a master in management, you cannot take business analytics as a master in business management. So there is a little something to be careful about. So one thing is a master's degree in finance after taking a business management track. This applies whether you're in marketing, such as a marketing program, or even an MBA program. For the marketing program, we currently have 3 tracks available: analytics, branding, and generative AI. You can choose one of these specializations, and you can also take finance or business analytics in the second master's program. Now, regarding the MBA, there are 5 tracks available: strategy, finance, analytics, entrepreneurship, and marketing. With the second master's, you can pursue a master in finance, a master in business analytics, or a master in marketing. By choosing a track and one of the 3 dual degrees, you can become a globally specialized professional. Yes, so this is it. If you combine a master in management with a second master, it gives you an idea of what kind of good jobs you can get. For example, by taking a good master in management and a second master in marketing, you can get a job as an account manager, a French associate, or a brand manager. And next one, yes. Yes, if you take the Master of Management and Finance, you can get a job as an audit associate or a financial analyst, for example, a financial planner. And if you take the MIM and Business Analytics, you can become a business analyst, a data analyst, a marketing analyst, etc. So if you get your first master's degree in marketing and then your second in finance, you can get a job as a marketing analyst, finance manager, market analyst, researcher, or you can register for marketing plus business Alex, and become a marketing analytics specialist or a social media marketing analyst or any of those kinds of jobs. In the case of the MBA, if you combine it with marketing, you could become a brand director or a business development director. If you pair the MBA with finance, you could work as a financial controller. A management consultant is someone who has an MBA plus business analytics and can take on public roles such as a data engineer or F&P analyst. So, MIMS and MBAs are more of a way of studying business in general. Plus, by getting a second master's degree in your own specialty, Hong, you can choose the industry you want to go in or the position you want to take. This means you can demonstrate your expertise in your field. When aiming for overseas employment, having that expertise becomes quite essential. By getting a specialized master's degree first, you can show your expertise in an interview by saying, for example, that you have a second degree in finance or business ethics, so your chances of finding a job overseas will be significantly higher. Yes. Next, we have an interview with a current student. Today we have Kanami here, and I'd like to hear various things from her. Sure. Let's start with a self-introduction. Please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you for having me today. My name is Kanami Ishibashi, and I am currently studying marketing at a business school in London. I am originally from Tokyo. I've always worked in Tokyo, and as for my career, I went to International Christian University. There, I was able to hone my English quite a bit, and I do have a background in being somewhat accustomed to global environments since I was a student. During college, I went to Michigan in the US for a year. I went there as an exchange student, and that was my first long-term study abroad experience. After graduating, I first worked for a Nikkei manufacturer. And after working there in overseas sales for 2 years, I changed jobs. I got a job at a company called EF Corporate Learning, and I was working on new business development there. And I was always doing work that was a bit like sales. So after working there for 2 years, I decided to return to school and continue my studies. So I'm currently at Hult. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for having me. All right, moving on. So I believe you are studying for a master in marketing, specifically international marketing, at the London campus. Before considering a master's program, did you explore any other options besides that? For instance, did you think about working holidays, or perhaps pursuing a diploma in business through studying abroad, or even changing jobs overseas? What were your thoughts on that?
That's right, something like that overseas. It started with wanting to go to London, but I had a lot of motivation. So, well, I considered options other than the master's as a way to get there, like a working holiday or changing jobs. But, well, in the end, after graduating from a university somewhere, I thought that at some point I wanted to go to that graduate school and get a master's degree. Well, after 5 years of working, I felt like I wanted to take a break from the workforce. So rather than changing jobs, I wanted to return to being a student and learn again. That's why pursuing a master's degree took priority over options like working holidays or job changes. I see. Thank you for that.
Why pursue a master's after 5 years of work? Was an MBA an option? Why choose a master in international marketing instead? I considered an MBA, but people said it's broad and shallow. It seemed impressive on a resume, so I was torn. After sales, I wanted marketing. I had a clear goal, so focusing on marketing made more sense than an MBA.
I had this image of it being shallow when I heard the story from that person. Well, I thought it would be really cool to put an MBA on that resume. So I was really hesitant. But I had a strong feeling that I wanted to go into marketing after doing sales. So if you know what you want to do, then marketing is better than an MBA. So it's definitely better. I thought that by improving my expertise, going there would lead me more directly to the direction I wanted to go. So I chose that master's in marketing over that MBA.
So, you had specific future goals in mind, which is why you pursued a specialized master's degree. Thank you. Now, while looking for master's programs, did you consider any other schools besides Hult? Not really. As I mentioned in my self-introduction, I worked at EF, which is part of the same group as Hult. Since I was already familiar with Hult's business school through my work, I didn't explore many other options. I was discussing its appeal with clients, so I had a lot of trust in Hult.
Since I was working, I was already aware of Hult's business school through my company. I was also discussing its appeal with clients, which built a strong trust in Hult for me. Well, first I applied to Hult. Since it was also close in distance, it felt more approachable. Since it was close, I thought, let's first try Hult. And then I thought it was spring, and
Now that I was accepted, everything has settled smoothly and I'm ready to move on. I see, I understand. So, for example, while you were working in EF corporate, you learned about the various charms of Hult, but what was it that you found most attractive about Hult and why you decided to go with Hult without even looking at other schools? That's right. Hult is quite good at being featured in rankings, isn't it? MBA rankings and business school rankings, right?
so I'm right in there. What do you call society? I know that it's a prestigious school that's recognized worldwide. And even with my friends outside of Haru and EF, I'm working for a foreign affiliated company. I've heard people say that the person who joined recently was a graduate of Haruto.
There were also graduates at my workplace who studied for their MBA at Hult, which left a very positive impression on me, so I didn't have much hesitation in choosing Hult. I see, thank you for that. Well, for the 2025 academic year, Hult's MBA rankings have been released, and it seems to be ranked among the top 100 schools, so I think it's a school that is objectively evaluated as well. Thank you. Now, could you tell us why you chose Hult for your Master in Marketing in the London campus?
I'm proud. I chose London because Hult is internationally reputed and trusted from my experience. I chose Hult for this. During the application, diversity was emphasized. I realized as an Asian in Europe, I'd be a minority. I appreciated Hult's value on diversity. So the admission process, during the application process, while talking with various people from Hult, one thing that was often emphasized was the importance of diversity. Since I had been thinking about wanting to go to London at that time, I realized that as an Asian going to Europe, I would be in the minority. In that context, knowing that Hult values diversity gave me a sense of reassurance. I thought this environment will allow me to embrace my identity as an Asian and express my individuality. So the emphasis on diversity was a significant point for me. Going to school gives me a sense of reassurance. I feel that my identity as an Asian can be embraced and expressed in this environment. Diversity was a really significant point for me. Also, regarding the evaluation of the professors, I had the opportunity to talk with current students during the application process. They mentioned that the professors are really outstanding and interesting, and that they genuinely enjoy teaching. Sometimes university professors are more focused on their research while teaching, right? And there are also those professors who seem a bit lacking in enthusiasm. There are some professors who do research while also teaching, right? There are also teachers who only use one hand and are not very enthusiastic. I thought there would be a certain number of them, but that person. No. That person is very business-minded and has a lot of experience. And they are teachers who seem to enjoy learning and teaching while giving their classes. They are very good teachers. And there were people who said they liked the school. So I thought that the teachers must be really fun. And I felt that this was also a strong attraction. So the reason I chose London is, as I briefly mentioned in my self-introduction earlier, I had previously studied abroad in the US for a long time, so I wanted to go to Europe this time. Among the options, I thought about London, where English is spoken and there's a rich culture with lots of museums and muck-in theaters. I've always thought that I'd like to live in a city like London because it offers great access to culture. Additionally, London has good access to other European countries, making it easy to travel. Traveling to Europe from Japan usually requires a lot of time, but I thought that if I were in London, I could visit various countries on weekends, so that's why I chose London. It's great for accessing culture. I've always thought that I'd like to live in London as a city. Additionally, London has great access to various European countries, making it easy to travel. Traveling to Europe from Japan usually requires a lot of time, but I thought that if I were in London, I could visit different countries on weekends. So, yes, that's why I chose London. Thank you. Well, actually, you went to America in your university days, and now you're studying in London. Do you feel there are any big differences? Well, first of all, it's about my age. You went to America in your early 20s, and you came to Europe, London, in your late 20s. So for me, I guess it's also because of the difference in my personality. I don't know, but it's like America. It was a really big university in America. So, well, everyone was busy. And there was that excitement that students have, right? I think I got to experience what you might imagine as campus life in America. Well, this time at Hult, it's a business school. So I got the impression that the students have a very strong sense of purpose and motivation. I think that's quite different. I'm studying here because I want to become this kind of person. I have this kind of background because I want to start my own business in the future. I'm currently at a business school in London, or there are a lot of students here who are really tuned into the business world. So I think that's a significant difference.
Thank you. Well, that must be quite stimulating while you're studying, right? Yes, it definitely is. So, moving on to the next topic. There's one more slide that's not included here, but were there any concerns you had before applying, and have those concerns been resolved? Yes, yes, that's right. One of my concerns was about the age range of the students.
I was a bit concerned about the age range of the students and what kind of age groups would be there. And, well, beforehand, current students and um, it's like a messaging app, you know? Yes, yes. I was looking at going and thought, oh, there might be a lot of younger students, which made me a bit anxious, and that concern turned out to be true. Well, I'm currently 27, and I think I'm one of the oldest here, with most students being around 27 or 28, while there are also quite a few who just graduated from university around 22 or 23 years old. So at first, I was a bit concerned about that age difference. Speaking of that age difference, studying alongside students who don't have any work experience was a bit challenging for me. I had to adjust in certain areas. However, that doesn't mean that those students are. There were some things I had to adjust, but that said, it's not like those students are. How can I put it? There are no strange students at all. As I said before, they have a strong sense of purpose, are motivated, and are very talented, much better than me. They can use Excel and make PowerPoints. They can use Chat GPT, and they are very stimulating. There's a lot to learn from her and from them. I managed to put away those worries for now, but there was more to it than that.
There's a lot to learn yes, it's been very fulfilling. That's true. Yeah, that's true. It's not like they don't have any skills just because they're young. They have a lot of different skills. So there are things to learn from them. The older they are, the more they can facilitate, for example, or show more leadership within the group. So I think there's a good balance between the different aspects, and it's quite interesting. Yes, thank you. So next, I think a lot of people definitely wonder about funding when it comes to graduate school, since it can be quite expensive. How did you manage your funding, Nami? Well, I certainly applied early, so I was able to receive a scholarship in the spring.
In as for tuition fees, well, education, how do you say it? That's what I said. Educational theory of educational funds. I also considered education theory, but the conditions didn't match, so I ended up not being able to apply. As for the importance, I was very grateful to receive help from my parents, and then I'm covering my living expenses here. As for my stay and living costs, I am managing them entirely with the savings I have made from my 5 years of work experience. However, the cost of living in London is very high, so I am a bit shy. I'm living my life. I'm gradually trying to make some extra money by doing part-time work or side jobs, so I can have some spending money. I see. Yeah, I definitely think London is expensive. Roughly how much? Are we talking about? Well, for rent, I think everyone finds it to be quite high. Around 150,000 to 200,000 yen per month. For living expenses, including food and entertainment, it's roughly, well, about 100,000 yen a month. Around 100,000 yen. About 100,000 to 150,000 yen. I see. So you're keeping it around that amount, huh?
So you're keeping your expenses around 100,000 to 150,000 yen in total, right? Yes, I see. So for example, are you living alone right now? If you shared a place, the rent would be a bit cheaper, right? Oh, the shared rent is already around that price. If I didn't share, I'd definitely be paying over 200,000 yen a month. So I think that's pretty common. I see. I see.
Got it. Well, in London, if you have time, you can work part-time for up to 20 hours a week. I think that could provide some financial support. Right. It's not that I'm in poverty or anything, but when there's no income coming in, it can be a bit anxiety-inducing. So for my mental stability, I'm thinking about looking for some online jobs or part-time work. Got it. So next, I'd like to hear about the specific course content. Could you share some episodes from group projects or what the classes are like? Here's a brief list of the classes I really enjoyed. First, there's a class on digital marketing. I really like this teacher, Nick. He teaches in such a fun way. Well, we look at social media and we look at examples of companies' digital marketing, analyze them, and so on. It's a class, and the assignment is to create a digital marketing plan. The assignment was to choose a company and come up with a digital marketing plan for that company. So I chose Apple Music, which is in the top right corner of the image. There's something called Apple Music Reply, which is like the Apple Music version of Spotify Rap, but it's really terrible every year. Since it's losing to Spotify Rap, or I'd like to pick that up and say, what's wrong with this Apple Music Reply? What could be improved and how? That was a project where we had to figure out how to stand as a governor. And I really enjoyed tackling that challenge. So it became one of my favorite classes. Also, in terms of marketing, there's a class on brand management taught by David James, who is a well-known professor in London. He's a really interesting guy. And in this class, we analyze corporate branding or doing some analysis, etc. It's a project where we delve into what branding is and what the personality and identity of a company's brand are. So the assignment was to analyze a company's branding. And also, well, you choose your own company, you choose your own brand, and then that brand goes into a new market. The process of entering a market involves deciding which country to enter, choosing a different segment, or branding to target that customer base, and then formulating your own strategy. The group assignment was to analyze the branding of the company, and our group was involved in the makeup and skincare brand, Glossier. We chose a cosmetics brand, and it was a group of amazing girls. So we talked as a group about what kind of branding Macrosier does and what the problems are. So in that group, I ended up becoming the leader. The school assigns the groups at the beginning of the semester, saying, "This is your team for this semester." At the same time, they told me, "And you are the leader." But I'm really not good at being a leader. It was a position I had always avoided. But then I was assigned to be the leader. I was a bit hesitant, but it turned out to be a really good experience. I was able to reflect on my own ideas about leadership and organize in my own way. Oh, I thought maybe I can be a leader if I approach it this way. Everyone seemed happy with my approach. I was able to create my own image of what a leader is, so that group work became a really valuable experience for me. Yes. Also, aside from marketing classes, there are a few other subjects. For example, there's a finance class and an AI class, which are areas I'm not very comfortable with. I'm really not good with numbers, and AI like ChatGPT is also quite challenging for me. So I wonder if I'm really using it properly or not. Since I'm a line user, that it was quite a challenge for me, though. Well, that's great. I felt like I was actually learning new skills. So even though it was challenging, I had a lot of fun studying. For the finance assignment, we had to create our own brand, a fictional one, and come up with a financial marketing strategy for it. That's what the third slide is about. As for the AI class, we learned how to create prompts for ChatGPT and explored other AI tools, discussing how they can be applied in business settings. It was really enjoyable. That was one of the assignments, yes. And there was also an AI class. We learned how to create prompts for ChatGPT and explored other AI tools, discussing how they can be utilized in business settings. It was really enjoyable.
Thank you. Actually, when you studied in the US, did you notice any differences in the teaching styles when you started studying at Hult?
That's right. Indeed, I'm watching it, but how about it? Which one? In both America and the UK, there are definitely a lot more people who speak up compared to Japan. But how should I put it? Um, Differences in style? Well, maybe. I think it's also because I was an undergraduate student in America. But that was the quality. And I feel like the quality of questions here is quite different. Sometimes there are students who ask really challenging questions that make me think, are they trying to pick a fight? Is everything okay? There are quite a few students like that here, and at first, when I saw those kids, I thought, as a Japanese person, wait, are they really talking to the teacher like that? That was my impression. But later on, I thought, oh, but in this way, how should I put it? Having an attitude, with this confidence in myself. I think that by speaking up, you earn respect from the teachers and from the people around you. And that seems to be part of the culture here. In America, that wasn't really the case, probably because I was an undergraduate and didn't have the environment to ask sharp questions freely. I feel like that's quite different from my previous study abroad experience. I feel like it's different from when I studied abroad.
Got it. Thank you. By the way, could you tell me what percentage of the grades comes from individual assignments and what percentage comes from group assignments? How are the grades determined? Yes, well, it depends on the class, but generally,
Three, sometimes it's 50-50. 30% is the group and 70% is the individual. So, well, 30%. Sometimes it's the individual and 70% is the group. It totally depends on the class. The group, there were times when it was even 90%. Yes.
so besides your leadership experience in group work, have you perhaps had any other challenging experiences? Well, last semester was quite, in particular.
In the difficult Alina group. That's it. There are some kids who don't come to meetings. There are quite a few kids who won't do anything unless they're told to. Me and two people. I was wondering what to do with my close friends while we were working in that group. Yeah. And then there's this kid who's the leader. The leader took the initiative and organized everything. And my friend and I went along with that. Well, just a bit about the group's tone, or rather, we set the tone with the three of us, set it up, and then those other three. That,
It was a bit difficult to create the right atmosphere so that everyone would get on board. Yes, I guess that's true. Well, sometimes, well, it's not just something that happens when you do this, but it happens at other schools too, I think. But even in those situations, there are deadlines within the group and we have to meet them. So there are all kinds of things like that.
using various methods to get everyone involved can be quite challenging, but I feel like it really sharpens a lot of skills, and that's part of the learning experience. That's the essence of studying at an international business school. There are plenty of kids who are loose with time, and within that, we have to figure out how to meet deadlines while working towards a common goal. How about that? We manage to work things out and do it ourselves. That's right. There it is. Although it is a difficult aspect, if you want to go out into the world and work in an international environment, you will definitely encounter these kinds of issues. In that situation, how do you deal with it? How do you influence the other person? And how do you come to terms with it within yourself? That's the Japanese way of measuring things. There are things that can't be measured, but they come up a lot, and you have to settle those within yourself. It's all part of the training.
Thank you. Yes, a lot of different things happen, and I think how you deal with them is something that really toughens you up over the course of the year. Thank you very much.
So, sorry, let me go back for a moment. Next, are you receiving any specific career support as you move towards your career? Right now, yes. I'm considering a real estate career, so my graduation is a bit delayed. At this point, I'm not actively seeking support, but I have a lot of support when it comes to my career. Things like taking headshots for LinkedIn, the school does things that you would normally have to pay for. So, so I took advantage of that. And while I was there, I also had a conversation with the career team. There are also opportunities to chat a little. So there are a lot of kids who get their LinkedIn corrections there, and friends make appointments before interviews and get advice. Yes. Likewise, what subjects should I take for dual tier? Right now, I'm going to do finance. Yes. So, at the London campus. That's right. I see. By the way, why did you think finance was good? Well, I'm not good at finance at all, but, well, first of all, the real decisions I could take in London were marketing and finance. So, well, part of it was that I didn't have many options. When I enrolled in the spring, I was already receiving a scholarship for the dual degree that if I can get a degree in finance in a short period of time for less money than usual, and it can be put on my resume, then I feel like there's no reason not to do it. So I'm thinking of giving it a try.
Thank you. Well, finance is fundamental to business, and with additional knowledge in marketing, I think you can find a wide range of job opportunities. So I believe you can really excel in the dual degree program. Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. So after finishing JTB, can you tell me about your career, plans after graduation, and what you're currently doing to prepare for that?
Yes. After graduation, I'm still undecided about whether to find a job here or return to Japan. Right now, it's about a 50-50 split. That's because I think I feel like my value as a professional would increase if I went back to Japan. Well, I think being able to speak English and having a master's degree from abroad will definitely give me an advantage. When I return to Japan and look for a job, but this one, well, it's not that great. It might not be that impressive. Speaking English is pretty much the norm here, and there are plenty of people who can do it. Since there are people from all over the world looking for jobs in London, the competition is really high. I think that I might not be able to land as good a position here as I could if I were job hunting in Japan. I'm considering that. So, whether I want to stay in London or return to Japan really depends on how much I like London. I'm currently considering both options, and honestly, I'm about 50-50 on it. I'm thinking about what kind of companies I would want to work for in Japan and what companies are available here in London. For now, I'm exploring LinkedIn, and I guess it's like you're searching for a job. So if there are any graduates of Hult who are interested in working for a company, if you're on LinkedIn or something, send them a link. So I guess it's like networking. For now. Yes, I understand. Well, I think you'll be taking action and starting your job search from now on.
Well, I think they'll start moving in earnest. Well, actually, they'll apply to companies and maybe get an offer, and then that's how it will end. Deciding whether to stay in Japan or go abroad is a bit of both. Even if you want to work overseas, some end up wanting to work in Japan after arriving. There are various possibilities which broadens your options. By going abroad, you might get a position overseas or focus on job hunting in Japan. Since you're in London, if you want to work abroad, now is the time. If you return to Japan, it might be harder to find opportunities. It's important to consider all options and keep a list of what's available.
Ah, that's right. Uh, well, yes, I'm in London now. If I want to get a job abroad, I should definitely do it now. If I go back to Japan, it might be hard to get a job again, so I'm thinking about that and a lot of other things. I'm currently listing out my options and thinking about what possibilities I have. I want to keep all the options available to me. I see. Thank you. By the way, what kind of positions or industries are you looking into? Right now, I'm quite interested in the cultural aspect of things. I'm interested in entertainment and also in organizations that hold exhibitions like museums. I'm interested in organizations like that. Also, I'm into event organizing and event marketing because I'm really interested.
I'm currently dreaming about it. Johan, yes, I see. Well, regardless of the industry, marketing positions and positions that combine marketing with finance are in high demand. So, I encourage you to pursue your interests in those fields and apply for jobs. I really hope you can secure a position either locally or back in Japan.
Yes, so finally, could you give a message to those who are still undecided? Sure, for those who are considering it right now, I think Hult is a really great place to learn practical skills through hands-on experience. You get to learn just as much through practical assignments as you do from traditional classroom study. So it's really beneficial. I really feel like I've come to a great business school. Apply, this isn't what I was talking about earlier, but as an option, I'll keep it open. It's about keeping your options open, but I think that's fine. I'm still unsure. If you're still unsure, just apply. And after that, even after you apply, there are network students and unemployed students, They prepare many opportunities for you to meet and talk directly. So I think it's perfectly fine to meet there and talk and consider it. So I would like you to apply first. Yes, that's how it feels. Thank you. Yes. Well, first of all, I would like you to give it a try, and then you can see what the final results will be. And if you pass, you can decide whether to go or not. That's the timing.
You can also make a decision based on that. So I really hope you take the challenge. Okay, so finally, the deadline for the fourth round of registration is March 31st, and the current Master's MBA can offer up to 40% of the scholarship. And for MBAs only, the GMAT GRE Special Scholarship is still available. So if you have the current qualifications and have good scores, you can be offered 50% to 90% of the scholarship. And even the JR Degree Special Scholarship will be 100%, March 31st. If you receive an offer, this will be your last chance to get that 100% scholarship. So I encourage you to fill out your online profile and apply. Yes. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from London today, Mr. Khan. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate it. All right, let's continue to stay in touch. Yes, thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye.